Hello everyone. My name is Irvin Thomas Wilson. Today I will be talking about witness protection scheme in India. So, witnesses are considered one of the most important of components of the criminal justice system. It is because of them that the trial is able to find any substance and reach a fair condition and conclusion. Since the witnesses' input could have a direct impact on an accused prosecution or acquittal, it is desirable that such a witness be shielded from the wrath or from the persuasion or from the intimidation or potential danger that he or she could face. So, we will see the witness protection scheme in India. So, Witness Protection Scheme in India. On December 6, 2018, the Supreme Court gave its approval to the draft Witness Protection Scheme, which was drafted with input from 18 states or union territories, various open sources, and recommendations from police officers, judges, and civil society, and then finalized by the National Legal Services Authority. So, the right to testify in courts in a free and reasonable manner without any intimidation or threat uh, whatsoever is uh, a very important need for a witness to testify against a person. So, this basic principle is under serious threat or assault today. So, anyone can go up to a person and threat or intimidate them in order to change their statement against the person and all. So that is a very important and crucial situation in India. Not only in India, in several other places. So now let's see what is the need for this case. So it is a rule that no witness rights should be jeopardized by threats, harassment, or corruption. So he or she should be free to testify or against the case in which he had been a witness. So, in the words of Jeremy Bentham, witnesses are the court's eyes and ears. So, it is incumbent to the state to offer reasonable security to the witness in order to ensure that the wheel of justice runs smooth. So, uh, the need to protect witnesses was highlighted by the Honorable Supreme Court of India in the case uh, Sahira Habibullah at Sheikh and others versus State of Gujarat, where the Honorable Supreme Court of noted that if the witnesses are threatened or coerced to provide false proof, that will also not result in a fair trial. So that is the need for this scheme. So the the United Nations National General Assembly uh, adopted the Declaration of Basic Principles for Justice for Victims of Crime and Abuse of Power in November 1985, which regarded victims of crimes as essential witnesses and set out four goals, the applicability of which must be ensured by member nations against victims of crime. So the first one is fairness and access to justice. Next is the restitution. The next one is compensation, and the next one is assistance. So now let's see what are the rights of the witnesses. The state must provide a sense of safety to the witness who comes forward to testify, and it is the state's duty to provide sufficient security to the witness. The Witness Protection Scheme and numerous law commission reports have established those rights with a witness possessed. So, the rights of the witness are the right to a reserved waiting area during court proceedings, the right to know the status of the criminal investigation and prosecution, the right to be treated with compassion and dignity by respecting their privacy, the right to be safe from harm or intimidation, the ability to testify without disclosing one's identity, and the right to a safe place to stay and transportation. So, these are the rights of a witness. So, type of protection measures. So, the magnitude of security measures taken by the competent authority shall always be proportional to the danger faced by the witness for the specified period of time according to the provisions of the Victim Protection Scheme 2018. They can consist of but are not limited to the following. So, to avoid some of the protection measures are to avoid the victim and witness on the same stand during a trial or investigation, providing adequate protection to the witness by bodyguards, frequent patrols, and use of security equipment such as CCTV, fencing, security doors in his home, changing the witness's residence to a different location, providing prompt financial assistance for the witness's subsistence from the Witness Protection Fund. So, etc. These are some of the protection measures adopted by the authorities. So, there is always one principle in which the protection is uh, ensured to the victim or witness. So, there are three categories of threat levels. That is, category A. Threat extends to the life of witness or his family and thereby affecting their normal way of life. Uh, Category B. Threat extends to safety and reputation. Category C. Moderate threat that extends to harassment and intimidation. So the category A forms the gravest among all because the threat extending therein may find its presence even after the trial or investigation is complete. So, protection of identity. The scheme takes into account the witness's right to privacy. So, if the witness wishes to protect his identity, he can file an application with a competent authority in the prescribed form as per the scheme. The qualified authority uh, there is uh, there is on the lookout for the threat analysis report in order to determine the level of threat posed by the witness or his family members, as well as whether they meet the conditions for an identity security order. So now next one is change of identity. In appropriate cases, the witness can request a change of identity, which will be granted by the Commissioner of Police or the SSP in District Police based on the threat perception criteria. So, the witness will be given a new identity, including a new name, occupation, and parentage in exchange of for submitting supporting documentation that the governmental agencies approve. However, such a change of name has no effect on the witness's educational, professional, or property rights. So, relocation of witness. The witness has the choice to be transferred to a different location within the limits of the state or union territory or the territory of the Union of India. in the same manner as described above. The procedure to it is the same as of the procedure in which a change of identity is necessary. Witness Protection Scheme. The scheme establishes a witness protection fund which will be managed by the Ministry of or Department of Home Affairs in the state or union territory. So the main income of this protection witness protection fund is budgetary allocations made by the state government in its annual budget, fines imposed under Section 357 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, ordered to be deposited by the court, and donations and contributions from various charitable trusts, philanthropists, and individuals permitted by the government. So, what are the drawbacks of the scheme? The main drawbacks of the scheme is that the state is responsible for maintaining a functioning criminal justice system, and certain states can lack the resources to successfully enforce the scheme. The next one is the witness protection order has been limited to a 3-month period of operation. The next one is the role of determining the contents and preparing the threat analysis report has been assigned to the district chief of police, because in high profile situations involving officials or famous individuals, the police officer might be pressured to give information about the witness to certain people. So that's all about the topic, guys. Feel free to comment about the topic. Thank you, guys.